What happens to the quantity supplied of Big Macs when the price of ground beef decreases from $3.75 per pound to $3.25? Obviously, the answer depends upon what happens to all other variables that affect the quantity supplied. To isolate the effect of the decrease in the price of ground beef, let's assume that all the other variables remain constant, including the price of Big Macs. Logic shows that the quantity supplied of Big Macs increases when the price of ground beef decreases. Suppose, for example, that the price of Big Macs is $3 and the quantity supplied of Big Macs is 1,000 when the price of ground beef is $3.75. Some restaurants would find that staying open from 12 to 1 a.m. is profitable when the price of ground beef is $3.25, but not when the price is $3.75. Therefore, the quantity supplied of Big Macs would be greater than 1,000 when the price of ground beef is $3.25. Suppose the new quantity is 1,100. The decrease in the price of ground beef would reduce the quantity supplied of Big Macs regardless of the price of Big Macs. Suppose, for example, that this table shows the supply schedule for Big Macs when the price of ground beef is $3.75. The quantities would be greater than 900, 1,000, and 1,200 when the price of ground beef is $3.25. The supply schedule for Big Macs when the price of ground beef is $3.25 would look something like this. When we plot the two supply schedules, we see that the supply curve when the price of ground beef is $3.25 lies to the right of the supply curve when the price of ground beef is $3.75. When the price of ground beef decreases from $3.75 to $3.25, points A, B, and C move to the right. This example illustrates a key idea in this lesson. When a change in something other than the price of the good makes the quantity supplied increase, the supply curve shifts to the right. We call this rightward shift an increase in supply. The opposite is also true. When a change in something other than the price of the good makes the quantity supplied decrease, the supply curve shifts to the left. We call this leftward shift a decrease in supply. To tell whether the supply increases, decreases, or remains constant, answer this question. If the price of the good is constant, would producers want to sell more, less, or the same amount as before? If the answer is more, then the supply curve shifts to the right. If the answer is less, then the supply curve shifts to the left. If the answer is the same amount, then the supply curve does not change. Here are changes that tend to make a supply for a product increase. The price of an input decreases, technology improves, taxes on producers decrease, producers expect the price of the good to increase in the future, and the number of producers increases. Here are changes that tend to make the supply for a product decrease. The price of an input increases, technology deteriorates, perhaps due to regulation that restricts the use of current technology. Taxes on the producers increase, producers expect the price of the good to decrease in the future, and the number of producers decreases. Here are three examples. When firms develop a more efficient way to produce and sell Big Macs, the supply curve for Big Macs increases. Holding the price of Big Macs constant, restaurants would want to sell more Big Macs because the new technology increases the profitability of selling Big Macs. When the government imposes a $1 tax on Big Macs, the supply for Big Macs decreases. Holding the price of Big Macs constant, restaurants would want to sell fewer Big Macs because the tax decreases the profitability of selling Big Macs. When the price of Big Macs increases, the supply curve for Big Macs does not shift. If the price is constant, producers would still want to sell the same amount. This increase in price moves producers up and to the right of the supply curve, but does not shift the curve.